Thank you, everyone, for joining the weekly rant. My name is Terrible T. I appreciate you stopping by. Today, I want to talk to you specifically about what did we do? We as Americans, what did we just do? And I ask that because we elected a sitting president that says they want to make America great again. It sounds good in theory, but raising tariffs on imported goods is not going to make America great again. It's going to hurt us bad. If it costs $240 to manufacture an iPhone over in China or Thailand, where most of them come from, and we paying $300-$400 for this particular iPhone, the price that we're paying is then raised almost 116% to the consumer for the same $240 iPhone. And now you want to raise that tariff on imported goods by 10, 20, 30%. Whereas we're paying $1,000 or more for an iPhone 14 or iPhone 13 or whatever. Now we're going to end up having to pay almost $2,000 for a fucking phone. Really? And that's not including the sales tax that our state and city and county puts on us. How is that making America great again? How is that making America great again? You say that raising tariffs will force manufacturing companies to come back to the United States. Okay. I buy that. But the cost of labor and materials to make something here in the U.S. is 3 to 4 times higher than it is if it's imported. I want you to keep that in mind for a minute. If I sold you a t-shirt for $20 that I was getting from China for $10, you would think that's a great deal. But now if I gotta pay $20 for that same t-shirt, you think I'm gonna still sell you that same t-shirt for $20? Or am I gonna have to make the price go higher in order for me to make a profit? Which in turn is gonna cause you to have to pay more. So who's really paying that tariff? Is it China? Is it the company that's buying from China? Or is it the consumer that's paying for that product that came initially from China? People are so wound up with this facade that Donald Trump has portrayed to be the great Messiah. There's even a video of a young lady calling him the second thing to God. I find that very disturbing. Now, I'm not a religious person. I walk with a spiritual walk. But even I know that no man is the second thing to God. If we don't stop this nonsense now, this country is going to go so far back that it's going to surpass the Dark Ages. They're talking about giving the higher ups another tax cut. Who do you think is going to pay for that in the end, people? It's either our taxes are going to go up, or they're going to implement a higher sales tax on things in order to make up the difference that they took from them to keep their flat line, their bottom line, flat or higher. The consumer, the people that elected this man is going to be the one who suffers the most. Deportation of legal immigrants and illegal immigrants And I say legal and illegal because there are some that's here that's legal that has had children that are not legal for whatever reason. So you're going to separate families with this deportation thing that you're talking about. You know, I heard the comments of the new border czar when he said that he separates families when someone goes to jail. If there's a father in the car with his children and the father's arrested, there's separation of family. That's an entirely different thing, my friend. Entirely different thing. Illegal border crossing is a crime. I can't dispute that. I won't dispute that. But what I will dispute is until now, coming into this country illegally was fine. Let's spin that wheel back a little bit. When the Irish came to this country, they were illegal immigrants. When the Italians came to this country, they were illegal immigrants. When Polish, German, French came to this country, they were illegal immigrants. Nothing was said or done about them. There was no mass deportation put in place on them. So why are we trying to mass deportate another group of people because we're uncomfortable? If we don't stop and look in the mirror, people, if we don't stop letting people tell us what's right, forcing us to believe in something that we don't believe in, this country will never recover. We elected a president who wants to do away with the Board of Education system. And that brings me to my next topic about this phrase and term that everyone is using called woke. What is woke? I looked up that word and I found many definitions, but to sum it up is to be woke is to be self-aware. A woke person is one who is educated. So now I understand why you consider the word woke being bad. And now I understand why you want to do away with the Department of Education. It's because you don't want the people to be educated. You don't want a woke person disputing every lie that you spill out your mouth. You don't want a woke person to debate what you have to say. You want sheep. Someone is going to follow orders. Never question. Never doubt. So I understand why you want to get rid of the Board of Education system. I get it now. I didn't at first. I thought it was just a thing you were saying to terrorize people, because that's what you're doing, terrorizing people. But no, that's what your plan is. That's part of your plan to becoming a dictator. And yes, you have said and shown that's exactly what you want to do. And that's exactly what you plan to be. Oh, you don't believe me? Okay, hold on. I'm going to show you these two clips, and I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about it a little further, okay? All right, let's watch this.
If you want to save America, get your friends, get your family, get everyone you know, and vote. Vote early, vote absentee, vote on election day. I don't care how, but you have to get out and vote. And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote. So we have to be careful. You got to get out there and you got to watch those voters. You don't have to vote. Don't worry about voting. The voting, we got plenty of votes. You got to watch election night. You know, it used to be election day, election night.
If it meows, it's a cat. If it barks, it's a fucking dog. If it roars, it's a tiger or a lion. So are there any more questions about what we did? Are there any more worries about what we didn't do? People, the human people have been taught lies throughout history, stemming back from the biblical times and the times before the biblical times. Before Christ, since Christ. The original religion was Hinduism. A lot of people don't know that. 10,000 years before America was colonized, America was here and lived upon by Hindu Asians, which made them Native Americans, which made them Indians. A lot of people didn't know that. I didn't know that. I had to do some research on it. But America was not discovered, people. America was found. Just like the West Indies wasn't discovered, it was found. People already pre-existed in these places. So how can someone pre-exist and then be discovered? There's no way possible. There's no way possible for that to even happen. If it's already in place, then it cannot be discovered. If there's people already living in this country, how can you then discover something that was already pre-existing? There's no way possible. Discovering something is finding something that no one knew about, that never existed until you found it. That's discovery. So when you say that America was discovered by Columbus or Mary Vespucci or whoever you want to claim it discovered America, America was already here 10,000 years before the British even set foot on the United States. The United States was colonized, 13 colonies, before it became the United States. The British colonized this country after it landed here, before it became the United States. If people would just stop and think and do their own research and understand what it is to be woke, that word just still bothers me, to be educated, then we would stop falling for these false promises made by someone else. We would stop being sheep. In order to lead, you must first have had to follow. And in order to follow, you must be willing to learn. If you're unwilling to learn, you can never be taught. If you're unable to be taught, then you will never understand. I am so frustrated with people. There's no such thing as race. We're all fucking human beings. We walk the same. We talk the same. different dialect, different languages, but yet we talk the same. In order for us to communicate, our mouths have to move or our hand gestures have to move. We bleed the same. Why do one set of humans dislike another set of humans? It's simple. They were taught that way. They were taught not to like someone because they're taking your jobs, or they're stealing your girls, or they're doing something that you don't like. Not that they did something to you per se, it's just what you don't like. So, racism, in my opinion, was made up. It's a true thing today, but it's an originally made up term to get one group of people to dislike or hate another group of people for whatever reason. Whatever reason. Whether they look different than you, whether they talk different than you, whether they just are different in general. You were taught to dislike that person because of that. Racism exists today because it was taught yesterday. Yeah. If we don't stop looking at the next man as the enemy, then we are our own enemy. If I didn't do something to you personally, don't hate me because of what someone else did. Not like me for what I did to you, or what I said to you, or what I caused harm to you. Not like me for that, for my actions. Not for another groups, not for someone else, but for what I did. I can't hold you accountable for what some British or white man did 400 years ago. You weren't there. It wasn't caused by you. You didn't do it. But yet, I'm not supposed to like any white person or any British or any Spaniard or anyone who had anything to do with slavery. I'm not supposed to like my own people because they had black slave owners. No, none of us was there, people. None of us had a hand in that. Fuck what our ancestors did. Fuck what the ones that came before us did. It's not about that. It's about what we do today. It's what we do now to make this country great again. It's up to us, not them. But we keep allowing them to dictate to us what is right and what is wrong, or what's best for the country. When we see that it's not, then we will never, and I repeat, we will never be great again. Some will argue, when were we ever great? Fuck all that. What has happened? What's happening now is what we need to be focused on. What Donald Trump is attempting to do is what we need to be focusing on, trying to prevent. As you saw in the video, he said, I don't need your votes. I have plenty of votes. Then he turns right around and says to the Christians and the evangelicals, get out there and vote. Just this one time. You will never have to vote again. It'll be fixed. It'll be perfect. You'll never have to vote again. Now, if that doesn't sound like some dictatorship to you, then there's something wrong with your mind. There's something really wrong with the way you think. A cult is a cult. I don't care if it's a religious cult, if it's a industry cult, if it's a political cult. A cult is a cult. No matter how you strike it down, no matter how you strike it up, a cult is a cult. And for people out here to believe that Donald Trump is the second thing to God,
Trump is the closest thing to God.
Trump is the closest thing to God, really?
Absolutely, absolutely. He's what's gonna fix this nation. This nation's corrupt. We're all split. America used to be all together.
Yeah.
Now we're all split up. Why? We need to come back together. The only person who's gonna mold us is God first and then Trump.
there's really something wrong. People, there's really something wrong. And as I said, I'm not a religious person. I walk with a spiritual walk. I believe what I want to believe. But even I, not being a religious person, know that there's no one, not even Jesus, that is second to God. Because according to the Bible, he said, there is none before me, there is none after me. I am the Alpha, the Omega, period. So when I hear people hollering about Jesus is Christ, Jesus is Lord, Jesus is the Savior, and they consider him to be God over God, I got a problem with that. But I'm not religious, but common sense. Whether God is real, whether God is true or not, he said in his books, I am the Alpha, I am the Maker, the Omega, the beginning and the ending, the one true God, the only God. But you got people out here claiming that Jesus is God, saying that they're all the same. No, people, they can't be the same. God is a spiritual form. Jesus was a man form, sent down to us as the Messiah. What is a prophet? A prophet is someone who foresees things that they believe to come to pass. Sometimes they're wrong, sometimes they're right. But if you take a step back and think about everything that's going on in the world today and has been going on, and you go back and you read the Bible from Genesis to Revelations, you'll see the coincidences. The Bible, in my opinion, is not an accurate account of things to come, but a blueprint to make things happen. The 10 Commandments, the first 10 Bill of Rights. Coincidence? No. The amendments to the Bill of Rights. The New Testament to the Old Testament. Coincidence? No. A pre-written document is a foundation or blueprint for what is to come. In order for it to come to pass, it has to be handed out by man. If you look at all the wars and all the issues going on in the world today, you'll find a coalition of that in the Bible. Some will say that it was foretold or it was prophesied to be. I can tell you that I'm going to bless you with a new house in 3 years. It can be laid out and written of how this house is going to be built and how it's going to transpire. But if I don't go out there and make that happen, if I don't put in the work, that's a false promise, not a prophet, not a prophecy. Now, if I go out there and I put it to work and I put in the work to make this happen from these blueprints that's laid out, that's called manipulation. I'm going to get off that topic because I know that's going to cause a lot of flash and a lot of heat, which I don't really care because I enjoy the feedback because it helps me learn as I learn from you. And hopefully you can learn from me a little bit of something. Who knows? But if we continue to sit back and watch this man and let this man or let Congress do the shit that they're doing to us people, we're going to go back well past the dark ages. No education, no rights, no freedom of speech, no freedom of press. He's trying to do away with a lot of shit that is our fundamental given rights by this country. He's trying to take away the rights of the people because it doesn't fit his agenda. If you speak negative about Trump, he's instantly vengeful. If you don't agree with Trump, he's instantly vengeful. And that's who we want in office. They want to do away with Obamacare. But he doesn't have anything in place to better or equal Obamacare. He wants to do away with certain rights of the people. He's already got rid of Roe v. Wade, a fundamental right that was given to women long ago. It didn't suit their agenda. It didn't suit their needs. It didn't suit their Christian values. So they wanted to get rid of it. They want to do it with the Board of Education system because they don't want woke people. They want followers. They want to take us back to the times of old. The times of old is when people were treated less than who they are. I'm going to explain something to you. With what we know now about those times of old, if either of you was to come and knock at my door talking about, hey, we need to take so-and-so, he's coming with us, or you're coming with us, before you even get to my door and say, hey, he, or hey, you, before the last word comes out of your mouth, you won't be walking away from my door. You may crawl, or you may lay there and go night. So y'all can pull that shit if you want to. Second Amendment right gives me the right to protect my family, my property, as well as myself. Pull it if you want to. You're gonna fuck around and find out. Each and every last one of you. We the people means just that. We the people. If it's not for us, you wouldn't be in the position that you're in. If it's not for us, you wouldn't have the authority that you have. If it's not for us, you wouldn't be able to abuse the authority that you have. When it says we the people, it's we the people, it's us. We put you in office to fight for us, but yet you fight for your own agenda. You fight for what's right in your eyes. These wars in Ukraine and in Israel and Gaza. Come on, man. Palestinians have a right to be just as free as Israel. They have a right to take claim of their property, of their home, just like Israel has a right to take claim to their property, of their home. But because they don't fit within your agenda, within your doctrine, they're the enemy. Ukraine has a right to fight and defend their country. But because it used to be a part of the USSR, and you think that they still belong to you, that now you're going to try to infringe on their freedoms and their rights by going to war? If we can stand up to bullies, Germany, other countries we went to war with, Iran, Pakistan, whatever. If we can stand up to Putin by helping Ukraine fight their battles, then why are we not standing up to Netanyahu, who is truly a fucking bully? Anyway, people, I said all that to basically say, fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Congress. And anyone who else who has an agenda to push Project 2025 upon its people. Fuck them. And the horse that they didn't ride in on. This has been Terrible T with the Weekly Rant. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this content, give me a comment, share, subscribe to the channel if you feel the need to. All comments are welcome. You will never be blocked. I don't care what your opinion is. We're going to have a decent conversation about it. Thank you for joining me. We'll rant next week.